And I'm joined now by Jen Samuel, an endangered species advocate dedicated to ending the ivory trade and advancing elephant well-being. She's president and founder of Elephants DC in Washington, D.C. Jen, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you.
We just listened to our reporter discuss Zimbabwe's attempts to retain the right to trade ivory and high-value animals. How do you discredit this?
Elephants are being killed faster than they are giving birth. We must turn our back from the brutal, bloody ivory trade in order to preserve these species for future generations of all nations. One can always turn a bloody profit, or one can take a step back and realize that by not selling that piece of ivory, they're helping to close the demand of an industry that's causing elephant extinction.
This is not just in Africa, it's in the U.S.
The Washington Post just reported that antique traders are claiming they will be losing more than $11 billion in annual revenue based on President Obama's administration's new federal regulations that ban nearly all ivory sales, interstate traffic, as well as import and export. But Susan, it is still up to states and cities to ban the ivory trade in their markets, to ban the interstate or domestic markets.
Let's talk about Zimbabwe a little bit more, Jen. What can be done with 93 tons of ivory that is sitting in Zimbabwe?
It can be destroyed to show the world that the only value ivory has is on living elephants. In fact, Dan Ash spoke to that back in 2014 when the president issued his national strategy on combating wildlife trafficking. He said the purpose of these new federal regulations were for Americans to see that ivory has value on living elephants only. And also on Thursday, in addition to these new federal regulations taking place, New Jersey banned the trophy import of 9 endangered species in honor of Cecil the lion that was killed in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe in 2014 also targeted its own national parks and took about 30 baby elephants, and they were exported to China and elsewhere. So it's about cash. That's why you're selling the ivory for cash. Studies have shown that the local communities do not benefit from those funds at all. It's going to keep the wealthy purchase new cars. It's not helping the greater good on the planet, that's for sure.
How close are we to seeing elephants and rhinos being endangered and extinct?
We are very close. We're looking at a window of 10 years in terms of gestation rate.
Wait, we're looking at what?
We're looking at 10 years before elephants will be extinct in the wild, and that's according to top ecologists around the nation and across the world. So in New Jersey, we're holding the New Jersey Ivory Crush on World Elephant Day, August 12th, to raise awareness. We have tomorrow in the UN, a wildlife crime report is going to be issued that shows that the ivory trade is funding Al-Shabaab, Lord's Resistance Army, Boko Haram, Al-Qaeda affiliates, Janjaweed. And as long as we're destroying natural environments, as long as our ecosystems are at risk and endangered majestic species are at risk of extinction, we can be doing more. And the easiest way to help save elephants from extinction is to end the ivory trade. Then we need to turn to, and simultaneously saving ecosystems from destruction for profit.
Why is it that the harder you try to stamp out the ivory trade, the more profitable it really becomes?
I think that some people from an economic perspective are banking on extinction. So the more rare elephants become. In 1900, there were 20 million elephants. In the 1800s, there were 20 million elephants. By 1910, there were only 10 million elephants in Africa. Today, we're looking at less than 300,000 elephants on the planet. According to Interpol, the conservative estimate is 35,000 elephants are killed annually. That's 96 a day. According to the New York Times, it's 1 every 14 minutes an elephant is killed. So we have to stand up to injustice. This is a social justice issue. Elephants are not humans, but they are very people-like. They're family-oriented. They stay with their families their whole lives. They cry with salt tears like their own. They grieve. They're extremely altruistic and kind and compassionate. So if we want the earth to continue to be earth, we have to stand up to the naysayers and say the profiteering is no excuse for the end of elephants on the planet. We will ban all ivory sales for future generations, and we will do it now.
Well, Jen Samuel, we certainly appreciate your time and understand your compassion and your hard work, and we thank you for that.
Thank you.